community.
So you also mentioned about how Maynard Jackson brought Delta. He saw, I think if I remember right, he said that he saw that, I think it was Chicago did something, and then he said, I want to bring that to Atlanta.
No, so, well, what happened with, you talking about the airport?
Yes.
So what happened with the airport, Maynard knew Atlanta had to have a new airport because you had Delta. This was Delta's national hub. And
Delta was already here.
Delta was already here.
Okay.
Eastern, it was also Eastern's hub, even though I think Eastern's home office was in Miami, but they had a hub in Atlanta. And so Maynard understood that international travel and being able to fly, really, it was being able to fly anywhere in the country within an hour, 2-3 hours, without a transfer was going to be important.
All right. So hold on, let me stop you quick, because you said that he wanted 27%?
27%.
To go to minority contractors.
Yeah.
What were the big contracts at that time? Outside of the airport, 'cause that's the first thing I thought about.
Well, the airport was the first big fight he had. So before that, you had two fights. You had one with also you had the banks that were managing the city's pension fund.
Mm-hmm.
And so Maynard was like 30% of the board of these banks had to be minority. And so, which forced the integration of the banking industry in the city of Atlanta. The other thing he did was the airport thing was 27% of all the contracts that went towards the construction of a new airport had to involve minority participation. And at first, the business community in Atlanta walked away from it. And so Maynard shut down construction of the airport, which, for a white business community means they're losing money.
Right.
And so finally they came to a table and they got 27%. Now the white business community always resented Maynard for that and for the banking thing, which is 30%. Yeah, so they resented him for all that stuff. But whenever you're but the thing about white money is this, if you look at it, 27% means that 73% of the money is being made by white boys. And they couldn't give up 27%, which is a problem.
All right.
You look at the boards of the banks that were handling the pension fund. Only 30% had to be minorities. And that means that white women were included in that. And they had a problem with that. So it goes to show you where we are right now to some degree with white male patriarchy. Mm-hmm. And the ascent of Donald Trump.
Very relevant.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. Man, he put those policies in place. So was that the turning point for Atlanta? And you mentioned other cities like Los Angeles, Detroit, DC. Why didn't those cities make it and Atlanta continued to thrive? What was the difference that Atlanta did?
Well, because Maynard did another thing too. Maynard traveled the country recruiting black businesses to Atlanta.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And DC's budget is controlled by Congress. So there's only so much Marion Barry could do. Tom Bradley was in LA, which had a 13% black population. So he could put in place a minority set-aside program, but he couldn't talk about it. And the thing with Coleman in Detroit was a manufacturing center.
All right.
And so you didn't have a large number of black businesses that were coming out of Detroit.
Right.
So what Maynard did was he made Atlanta in large, and also they didn't have HBCUs. So Atlanta, right. The important aspect of Atlanta is the AUC. Mm-hmm. Morehouse, Spelman, Clark Atlanta, and Morris Brown.
What's the AUC for the listeners who don't know what that means?
Say it again, dude.
So it's Morehouse College, Spelman College, Clark Atlanta University, and Morris Brown College. And so coming out of those schools, you had all this black intellectual capital, and many of them wanted to start their own businesses. And so you had that. And also, all those students participated in the civil rights movement. So they had their perspective in terms of black business, black civil rights, and black politics that you didn't have in these other cities as well,
Right.
Including a city like New Orleans.
So it almost feels like Atlanta always started out as a black Mecca, even.
It did. Atlanta was a black Mecca even before Maynard. It's just that segregation,
Right.
yeah, impacted a lot of stuff. I mean, Atlanta was the first city in the country to have black firemen and black policemen. And that happened in the late 40s. You know, now they couldn't pull over white people.
Right.
You know, but you know, but at the same time they were there.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So 27%. That's a big number. Is that? Do you know if that policy is still in play today?
It is still in play today.
In terms of what, dude?
In terms of minority participation. Now, how much it's enforced, how aggressively it's enforced. I mean, I think Michael would know more than that currently.
That's how we got all the contracts for the vending machines.
Yeah. So
is it still aggressively enforced?
So we have a fantastic mayor, man. We do have
a great mayor. Yeah,
a great mayor, man. With Mr.
Andre
Dixon. He's doing an amazing job of continuing that, and it's so important that we realize that Atlanta is a city of inclusion. It's so important about that. So Doobie talked about, he gave us the history of what's going on, but and then he led to us talking about inclusion. So which is so important. And so things are changing, and so God bless America. God bless America. It's going down.
I say this when you think you love your city, boy, you learn something new.
Yeah, I mean, look, Atlanta. So what Atlanta has become is the social, intellectual, and business capital of Black America. You know, Atlanta's to Black America what New York is to America.
Right. So, dude, I would challenge that.
Go ahead.
I would say Atlanta has become the city of intellectual capital of the world because Atlanta rules everything. Everything starts with Atlanta because we are a city that we have embraced inclusion. We have embraced everybody can participate. You know, it doesn't matter what you are, what you do. Atlanta is a town where you come here and you can make it. And so we love our people in Atlanta, man. And Atlanta is a town that we welcome you to come here. And so we believe in this city, and this city is fantastic. And the history. So you guys just heard a history with Mr. Du Bois, Samuel Du Bois Cook has told you guys about the history of Atlanta. It's very important. So I want you guys to listen to what he just said. Rewind. I'm talking right now. I want you to stop right now. My name is Michael Johnson. So stop and rewind to listen to what he just said. It's so important. Atlanta is for us. It's for everybody. It's not for him, me, her, or him. It's for us. So let's get to it. So do we continue to embrace what Atlanta has for everybody?
Well, that's true. I think Michael's exactly right. But also Atlanta, every 10 years, has adjusted. Right. So in the 60s, we were a city too busy to hate.
That's right.
In the 70s, we were the home of minority business.
That's right.
In the 80s, we were building our international perspective.
That's right.
The 90s, we were the Olympic cities.
That's right.
2000s, development. You know, and so Atlanta's always had the ability to adjust its image every 10 years, which a lot of other cities have not had the ability to do. But at the end of the day, there's a reason why everyone knows who the mayor of Atlanta is, right? I mean, you don't necessarily know who the mayor of New Orleans is, but everybody knows who the mayor of Atlanta is.
That's right.
You know, and the reason why is because Atlanta is the, it's a cultural hub of Black America.
So let me ask you this. Is it possible for any other city at this point to be another Atlanta, or did they miss the train altogether?